Yeah, welcome to my channel. Um, just going to talk about a little bit about well, what else? About the fact. Well, this Sunday is Monaco's Grand Prix, basically. Not much to say, honestly. Italy would have been interesting to have seen, but unfortunately, because of the rain and such and what happened, they decide to essentially cancel it in Imola or Italy, basically. It sucks that it happened like that, but you know, things like that are going to happen. It still keeps Max Verstappen and Checo in first and second place respectively in the championships, as well as keeping Red Bull in the lead in the Constructors' Cup. Uh, Question is, what should you expect here at Monaco? Well, put it this way: the Red Bull cars were built specifically for Monaco. They drive on Monaco's tracks now. These new engines, well, not the new engines, but the new chassis and such. That it's going to come down to between Checo and Max. The first question is basically who's going to screw up. That's what it's going to come down to, basically. Who's going to screw it up? Uh, Honestly, I don't think neither are going to screw it up. But look for Alonso with the Aston Martin to do really, really well. Ferrari, of course, the fact is you got Charles Leclerc from Monaco, looking to at least pole position. But seeing the way that Ferrari's cars have been handling lately, I don't see him in the qualifying round. At least maybe making up to fourth at best, fourth place in the starting position. Um, Seeing him end at the end of the race, I would say probably sixth or seventh, best bet. But look for basically between Checo and Max, but more likely, look for Max to be pole position and then also winning the Monaco Grand Prix. Um, Three, as of course, I think it's going to be Alonso. The way he's been driving lately, he's always only going to be three or four, maybe two. Unless for some reason something happens with Max's car and Checo's car, I have a feeling he's going to be at three as well too. Number four is going to be a little tricky. This is where it's going to. I think it's going to be between Signs. Well, actually, Signs does have a tendency to screw up in Monaco. He always does some mistake that forces him from what three and two, four down to like seven or eight. So look for most likely it's going to be for fourth and fifth place. It's going to be between Signs and Russell. I want to say Lewis Hamilton, but the thing is, I think has a little frustration going on with the engine and with the car itself. Basically, that he's still not attuned to the car. So look for him to have issues and finishing no better than sixth. I don't see him finishing better than that. If the only way he does that is if Mercedes has done something to the car dramatically that causes them to and causes Lewis to do really well. Um, at this point, I would say basically, if you like my video, like my content, and like my channel, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Also, one thing I should say is if you do like this video and like me talking and discussing about the Formula One as well too, please give me a thumbs up, and I will focus a little my content on there as well too. I'll go with most of my likes based on what it is. Right now, as of late, it looks like it's all about basketball right now more than anything else, and more of the comments are coming in towards the basketball end of things. So I might talk more about basketball more than anything else in my content, or more sports related, but a little bit for geared towards whatever's at that moment in the season. Um, but in any case, I would still include some tech stuff related stuff and some random stuff at that point as well too. But again, coming to the fact that Lewis is his great. Do we see him being done this year? Because like he's not winning the championship at all this year. Let's be honest. He's not winning the championship. It'd be a pure miracle if he could do that, but in reality, that's not happening. Um, it's going to come down to third place and fourth place, basically. I think more than anything else in the championship race, because like it's going to be 1-2 is going to be Max and Checo. Look for Max to win it outright. I think it's going to be three in a row for Max. Checo being number two, of course. Number three, most likely going to be Alonso, and maybe Sainz might jump into number four. I think number four again is going to be between Sainz and Russell. Most likely it's Russell more than anyone else. Um, McLaren, I don't even know what happened to McLaren, honestly. That's like a real shock that the McLaren just went downhill, considering what they were doing. It seemed like they were progressing really well, but it is that. Um, if we don't see Checo next year, which I think we will, look for Daniel Ricciardo to come back to, he's still not the reserve driver for Red Bull. Look for him to come in there, but in reality, I think his days are over with Red Bull, honestly, as well, too. The only best bet he's got is probably AlphaTauri, which I doubt that's going to happen. And the other option is I was going to say, well, I was going to say not Aston Martin, but maybe Williams. But unfortunately, in that situation, then either Pisteri or Albon would have to be let go at that point. But it looks like Albon's doing really well, surprisingly enough. So I think he's going to stick around with Williams. I think they just got to build momentum to the point where like they can get ahead. Haas, it looks like they're really happy. Like Haas is doing really well with both Nico and the Swede. I forgot his name though. Anyways, I mean the other option is I can think of is maybe Ricardo going to Alfa Romeo because they may not be happy with the dude, not Bottas, the other dude. I forgot his name now. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank with some of the drivers. Give me a second. I'll actually look it up and see what it is. Drivers. Here we go. Perez, Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton. Actually, Hamilton's number 4. Okay, overall. Yeah, but I think he's not going to get that. Stroll, surprisingly, is 8th ahead of Norris. Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg, as I mentioned, and the other one is Zhao. It adds a lot for Alfa Romeo to having a Chinese driver with Zhao, but if he doesn't do really well, I could see Alfa Romeo looking and pulling in Ricciardo at that point as well too. Sargent, as I said, sorry, I meant to say Sargent for Williams. I think he's doing really well. I don't see Albon losing out of Williams, and Magnussen, of course, Kevin Magnussen, Mags, he's probably going to stick around as well too. I think he and Nick are proving themselves with Haas to the point where, like, looking at the Constructors' Cup, I mean, they're pretty much there right now, right? So practically, they're like in the hunt between them and Alpine. I mean, honestly, Alpine is a surprise that they're actually this far down as well too. Alpine, you would figure they would be competing with Ferrari and Mercedes, but I mean, I hate to say it, but like, I think it's something that they're just trying to iron out some kinks. Look for them next year to come back stronger and better. Because like I think this is a case because like it's a new driver, they're just getting used to things, and some new, I think it's a new set of new mechanics. So that's all the factor too as well too. So I think they got to work that part out. But with that, I leave it at that. Do you think the Monaco Grand Prix is worthwhile to watch at this point right now? Honestly, knowing that chances are that knowing that full well that Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez are probably going to finish 1-2 anyways, in that order anyways as well too, to the point where like, maybe this year it becomes a mundane year as well too. Like there's no true competition at this point right now for Red Bull, just like it was for Mercedes. It was just internally, and you were hoping like someone would come up to like overtake Hamilton and give Hamilton a competition. The other thing is like honestly, if Mercedes finishes third to Aston Martin, or loses and goes to 4th place, does Toto Wolff remain with Mercedes at that point, or does Mercedes basically decide, it's time to let Toto Wolff go, because he did inherit the Mercedes team in 2012, and not much was needed to be changed for that while there. No rule changes were implemented until 2020, and that was one of the time when all this stuff started happening for Mercedes at that point. So it'll be interesting to see. It looks like he doesn't know how to adapt like Horner does. Horner knows how to adapt, it seems. It just takes him a bit, but he adapts fairly quickly. Ferrari's having that same issue as well too. Aston Martin looks like they're adapting very quickly now, and Haas, they might be able to adapt and like adapt to the point where like I think Gunther might be able to like get Haas into the number 4 or 5 spot at least for next year. I'm looking for next year at this point. Like I said, this year it's probably going to be Red Bull winning it at this point as well too. So I don't think there's anything else. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts. Please leave a comment in the comment section. Leave me your feedback in the comment section. But any comments in the comment section that are left, I do read them all and I do respond to them when they warrant a response. But with that, I'll just leave it at that. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you like my content, and please like or dislike depending on if you like this content or not, or this video and the content about F1. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.